foolish. Chop small, small, chop long time. Weak thoughts don't build strong minds. Think I'm in Poland. I just moved Olo, you see me with no cam. Pero tengo unos locos que chocan. Mis enemigos no se equivocan. A las damas y niños no se tocan. I'm in the kitchen, I give you that fuego. Money to burn tea, okay, all my pesos. Do as I say, si lo say so, I say so. You go for broke, I'ma go for my payroll now. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back. Foolish. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back, come back. Run that, my money, run that. Go when you go, make you go, never come back. Foolish.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bursting with Energy. Today, I have special guests with us. They're going to introduce themselves. So before we get into that, today is all about health and how we can increase our energy in regards to health. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
So I have Elsa, Martine, and Christian Kondo with me. Go ahead, introduce yourselves.
Yes, so my name is Elsa. I am a health coach since a little bit more than 2 years now. And I basically help my participants to create new habits, to manage daily stress, and to listen to their intuition as well.
My name is Martine, and I study nutrition. I just finished my master's in nutrition, so right now I'm currently trying to make my way into my career. And so my ideal goal would be to help people learn how to cook properly, cook healthy, and eat well.
Hi, my name is Christian. I'm a health coach as well, just like our friend Elsa over here. I also teach people how to better their habits, and I'm also a personal trainer, so I help people get healthier overall.
So we have life, food, and physique. Are you guys ready? You guys know I'm all about health and energy, as I'm a life coach as well and a spiritual guide. So we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to start with our water challenge. It has been a while since we did our water challenge. And you guys still know that Steve is the winner of the first 10 episodes. We're going to actually have the overall rematch on the 25th episode. I know I did say the 20th episode, but we did a lot of breathing. So we're going to get back into the water challenge, and we're going to start with it today. So the water challenge is basically who can drink water the fastest, okay? And then whoever wins gets an essential oil. I have Citrus Bliss today, guys. And Citrus Bliss is all about energy, uplifting, and refreshing yourself. You can literally put it on your hands. You can put it behind your back, on your feet. You can spray it in your house, however you want to use it. But you can't take this blend internally. So I will not be putting it in the water today. And then we'll talk about water right after. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Get your water.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's how Steve wins. He's competitive. Ready? 3, 2, 1. I hear small gulps. I hear big gulps. And Kondo wins.
I didn't even get halfway.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Me neither.
I don't even think I got
We
a
do need a
That's
large
okay,
amount
Martine.
of water a day, guys, about 8 cups. So I try to at least get in there 2 cups, so that, you can finish it throughout
But
the
honestly,
rest
it's
of the
not fair because I drink like 4 liters a day. And I drink fast, so.
But then it's good because Kondo will be here on the 25th episode
Yeah.
against Steve. Steve has won twice already,
Hey.
so he's killing it. He won he won twice overall. Like, so he won his individual one, and then he won against the other winners.
Listen, Steve, I'm coming for you.
Competition. So how was that? I know it was a lot of water for you. For Kondo, it was very easy.
And it was cold as well, so
Yeah.
a little bit harder, but yeah.
It was good though.
Yeah?
Good, refreshing.
Why is water important? We do talk about, usually I have nutrients in there. Today we didn't have nutrients because I didn't have wild orange. I had Citrus Bliss, which we can't put in there internally, but water is still good for us. Why is water good for us?
Well, it helps with digestion, for sure. Bowel movement, if you want
Yes.
to go into more
Yes.
details.
And if you think about it, sorry. to
You
cut
can
off, go ahead.
continue. Yeah.
If you think about it, your body is mainly water, right?
Mhm.
And so your cells live on that. Everything lives on that.
Mhm.
So you need water because you need to sustain yourself, and it also gives you a lot of energy.
Yep, exactly.
More energy.
The H2O goes into your muscles and gives you that burst of energy.
For me, it would be two things. One, for guys, like your body, like Martine said, is composed. Your muscles are composed of 79% water. So if you don't drink water, that plays a huge part in you building your muscle mass.
Exactly.
And also another thing is like that's also how your fat leaves the body. That's also how you lose fat.
Yes.
It helps you. It helps you in that process.
And we've talked about this throughout the episodes, but we always want to revisit why water is important for us. Okay, so drink your water, guys.
Yes, do. Drink
And
your water.
if you can, put nutrients in there because nutrients help you absorb the water better.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so we're going to play a little game of Simon Says, and then we're going to go into our discussion part, which is them going to be giving us a little bit of tips on how to increase energy. I'm going to start the discussion with a question. But I wanted to do a health Simon Says. You guys know I love seeing adults playing children games. So you guys can get up or sit down, whatever's comfortable. But I'm going to start
Are
with
we gonna be like doing any kind of movement?
Yeah,
like jumping up
exactly.
and down? No, let's get up.
So if you wanted to get up after,
up.
you can get up after. I'm also going to get up. All right, are you guys ready?
Yes.
So just to revisit the rules, because it has been a while since we were in school, Simon Says, when I say Simon Says, we'll say health says. Health says. Sounds good, guys?
Yeah.
So we'll say health says, and then I give something that they have to follow the instructions. If I say, let's say, touch the wall, it won't be that, but touch the wall without saying health says, then they don't do it. Whatever comes after health says, they do. Whatever doesn't have health says, they don't do. All right?
Okay, let's do this.
And then we'll talk about why I picked this game after.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Health says, do your favorite stretch.
Stretch.
Yes.
Favorite stretch.
And look at the stretches they did. Just to give you guys an idea of different stretches, I wanted to put that one out there. Health says, touch your ears. Okay. Touch your toes. You almost did. If they do it, then they would be out. So we'll do elimination process.
If we move, does it count?
See, I'm not sure. Should we count it? Well, let's ask our participants. Should we count it? Because I know because I know in schools when you move, you were kind of out.
Can I have one chance?
We'll give her one more chance because we didn't clarify that rule, so we'll give her one more chance. Ready? Health says jog in your spot. Stop. Health says stop. Okay? Health says take a deep inhale and exhale. Biggest one of the day. Awesome. Touch the table. Nice. Health says put your hands behind your back. I like how they did it all differently. They all did it, but it was all very different. I like that. Nice, nice, nice. Put your hands in front of you. Nice. Health says you can put your hands down. Health says touch your hair. I felt a little hesitation, but it was good. It was good. Health says put your hands down. Relax. Health says sit down. Get up. They're doing pretty good. We'll do a few more and see if anybody gets caught off guard. Health says cross your legs. Uncross your legs. Health says uncross your legs. Awesome. Health says do a jumping jack.
What?
You said what? A jumping jack.
Yeah. Well, she was like, I'm only going to do one. All right, all right.
You
Pick up
didn't
your
make that
cup.
clear.
Nice. Not bad, not bad. We'll do two more. Health says, give us the biggest smile of the day. Stop smiling. All right. That was good. We'll leave it at there. No one was eliminated. Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Can I get a high five too?
Yes. Everyone gets a high five.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
So why did I pick this game, guys? There's a few things about Simon Says. Do you want to guess first before I say?
If people, yeah.
Oh, you can go ahead.
If people follow instructions.
Yeah, but it's not only that, it's that you have to also follow instructions, you have to be quick with your reflexes, and you have to do the activity. So there's a few different elements of your senses that you have to use, and that's what I like about Simon Says. It gets you active, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is.
Yeah, it gets you smiling, it gets that burst of energy, which is what the show is all about.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. So are you guys ready for our discussion part? So this will be the
Yes.
longest part. And we'll get into whatever they have as advice. But I wanted to start with the question, why is life and why is exercise, and mindset important when it comes to health? So life and physique exercise.
Why is exercise important
Yes.
when it comes to health?
Yes.
I'll go first.
And mindset.
And mindset. Wow. I think they're very important when it comes to health because it helps you, how can I put it? One, it helps you release energy that you can't suppress within you. Because I have a friend of mine, he usually tells me that energy is, emotions is energy in motion.
Yes. I say that all the
Yeah.
time as well.
So
Energy in
because
motion.
So because it's energy in motion, you always have to make sure that there's a way for you to relieve or feel out the emotions that you're feeling. And through exercising, that's one of the ways to do it. You can channel positive or negative energy into positive energy by just getting your body moving overall. Second thing would be for mindset.
Yes.
Why is mindset important?
Yeah, for health.
For health? Well, your mindset is important for health because it really dictates your life. You know, because the way your mindset is set up determines the way you'll view life.
Yeah.
If you have a negative mindset, you're always going to look for negative things in life, right? So your environment or your overall aspect of life will be negative. But it's vice versa with the positive. It's the opposite effect with the positive side, and I think it's even more important to focus on your mindset before the physical aspect of things.
I
So
think
that's
about
where,
that
yeah,
as well.
that's
I
where
agree.
everything starts.
I'm just gonna add to what he said about mindset. I don't know if you know the saying that says, "As a man thinks, so he is."
Yes.
So what you think is actually what you become.
Yes,
Oftentimes,
exactly.
You can rack your brain, like if you're a worrier, oftentimes the things you worry about are the things that will end up happening to you. And if you don't keep your mind, keep your I guess your own, I don't know, like if you don't keep yourself,
Same.
you will eventually worry yourself into an early
Yeah.
grave.
I'm going to touch on two things that they said. So quality of thoughts is the quality, it determines your quality of life and your experience. And also exercise, movement. It doesn't have to be what you guys think of, exercise, weights, cardio. It's movement, moving your body, giving it the energy that it needs and allowing it to expulse that energy that is repressed. Because when we sit down, we're a little bit contracted and sometimes we need to be able to flow and move. And there's different ways that we can do that. So find something that works for you.
I totally agree with everything that was said. And I feel as well that basically exercise and the mindset, they overlap to each other. So let's say that you're going through a lot, just moving the body, as you mentioned, you feel so much better afterwards, meaning that you're activating all those feeling good hormones, like serotonin and so forth.
Yes,
So you feel at least lighter and less overwhelmed. So
exactly.
you don't forget what's going on, but at least you feel.
Yes. And when you do it in a game, it's even more fun.
Yes,
Make it fun
definitely.
for you. All right, so how can we strengthen our mindset?
So many amazing ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I'll go first. Because I feel like I started as a personal trainer, but I've always been huge on mindset. And now I'm going more the route of like what Elsa's doing, teaching people habits. One of the ways to strengthen your mindset is, well, first will be reading.
Yes.
Read. I think when you read, you get to see a different perspective of things, and it also makes you flex the brain, right? Because the way your brain works, it's like in life in general, whenever you're facing certain situations, you have all this data recorded in your mind. So that's what actually determines how you're going to react, because your brain analyzes the situation and it's going through data. Okay, have we seen this before? Have we seen this before? Okay, this is how we react when we
Yes.
react that way, right? So it's like teaching. You can learn through reading, through listening to personal development coaches. That's
Yeah.
one of the amazing things that I do. And the third thing is praying.
Yes.
Like,
And you guys know
Spiritual.
how I said I'm a spiritual guide as well. It's because that goes into
Yeah.
life coaching, health coaching.
I think praying is something that a lot of us neglect. But your spiritual aspect in life is the most important because it ties everything else
Yes.
together. Yeah.
Go watch the spiritual episode, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, love it.
For me, how do you change? The question was, how do you change your mindset?
Yes, how do you strengthen?
Oh, how do you
the
strengthen
mindset?
your mindset? For me, like you said, honestly, I would say start with praying, because for what I've lived, I understand that the more I get to know who God made me to be, the better I become as a person, because I know that He made me to be a good person. He's given me talents. He's blessed me in so many ways, and being able to see that and to understand, I guess because if you look at God as the master, right? He drew me, and He has the blueprint, so He knows what He made me for. So being able to understand that will definitely strengthen your mindset, for me at least. Another thing is, sometimes just get out of your own bubble. You know, when you're stuck in a problem, step out of it and do something else. Because by discovering the world, seeing other people, seeing how they're living their life, it just takes you out of your problems for a bit and lets you breathe, and then you can go back with a clear mindset.
Yes, I love all the
just to
tips.
strengthen yourself,
And remember, guys, these are all cost-free tips, so you can easily get out of your bubble. You can easily do some movement. You can easily pray. These are things that you can take on yourself and really strengthen the mind.
And finally, I'd say exercise. Because I remember when COVID first started, I was panicking. I was freaking out. And I started my workout journey from there. I think it was like 1 week after. And for those 30 minutes to an hour when I was just working out, my mind was on something else. And I was able to just think clearly and be a bit more at peace. And it's still going. So yeah.
Yes, amazing. I also want to touch on, so you know the self-discovery that you said when you're working with your spiritual side? That's what we help clients do. You have to discover yourself. You have to understand yourself so that you know how you act in certain situations. And if you don't like that, you can change it. Like I told you guys, between 0 and 7, that's when you absorb so much information, and we take that into adulthood. So we really have to like learn about ourselves so that we can unlearn and then relearn, which is why Kondo brought up reading, right, and different perspectives.
And then, in addition to basically once you're learning or exploring different types of activities, creating a new routine out of it, so that you can actually train your mindset, as you're saying. So what works for you the best? Is it early in the morning, or whenever that you're struggling with something that could be the prompt to create that routine?
Let's talk about, so we talked about mindset, let's talk about food. Mindset, we talked about physique, let's go into food, what we consume. And I want to start with food and then go into what we consume that's not just food. Okay? So, food, why is it important?
Why is food important? Because it's the fuel. It's a bit like, you know, when you go and put gas in your car, food is our gas, and that's what gives you energy, that's what gives you strength, that's what allows you to be alive. And so making sure you consume the right things will also make sure you stay healthy. I mean, we see here in North America, obesity is a huge thing. You see how all these, there are a lot of illnesses that are like non-communicable diseases that are caused by the way we eat here in North America. So making sure you eat properly will keep you healthy, keep you strong, and keep you going for a longer time.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I'll go along the way to what a nutrition professional just said. For sure, food, it's important because that's what keeps you going and keeps you growing, right? Whatever you put into your body is what's going to reflect on the outside. Yeah, that's what's very important. Yeah.
And I believe as well that doing the correlation between the choices that you're making when it comes to food and how you feel makes a difference too. So doing just a little exercise about, okay, whenever I feel happy, what I tend to eat, or whenever I feel sad, or the popular one, whenever I feel bored, how come I'm actually eating right now? So that helps as well too.
So in the self-love versus pleasure, that's the next episode that we're going to do. We're going to dive deeper into like the ingredients of food. But for this one, I want to transition into how food and our emotions, how it affects what we consume.
Yeah, I was just going to add, that's a great point, because I usually explain that to my clients. When clients come to me and they tell me that they usually have a crave for chocolate or a crave for specific foods, they don't understand where it comes from, but little do they know it's usually tied in with what they're feeling, because you crave something when you feel for something, right? So you just have to figure out, like, what is it?
What is it?
And whenever you're craving food, it's just an exercise, write down how you feel at the moment.
Yes. I have clients journal right when they eat, before they eat, and after they eat, 2 hours after.
And actually talking about cravings, it's a great thing too, because there is a link between craving and water.
Yeah.
So sometimes we
Yes.
actually think that we're hungry, but no, the body is actually dehydrated.
Yes.
So drinking water again.
Yes. Drink your water, guys.
That's a great point.
And also the importance of eating on a regular basis, also making sure you're not too hungry. Because the hungrier you are, the more you crave fatty foods, the more you crave things that are actually rich in, I guess, rich
In
foods
fat, yeah.
that are not necessarily the healthiest. So just making sure that maybe when you start feeling a little bit hungry, you have something to snack on. something
And that's
healthy.
because when you're really hungry, you start burning the fat that's in your body,
Yeah.
right? So then you
Because it
start
starts-
wanting to replace that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
To add on top of these two, with what you guys just said, because I feel like with this topic we can stretch it out a
Yes,
lot.
a lot.
But yeah, one is like a lot of people, like your hunger can camouflage, your thirst can camouflage itself as hunger.
Hunger.
Yeah. So sometimes like when you're feeling hungry, like Elsa said, you're not really hungry. You could also just be thirsty.
Thirsty.
And the second thing is too, when you're eating, you want to eat to about like you being 80% full.
Well, yeah.
And it takes about like 10 minutes for your body to understand where you're at in that eating process.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're just eating,
Yeah.
and you feel like okay, you're eating,
Yeah.
and you're just throwing food into an empty pit.
Yeah.
But it's like take like 5-10 minutes, wait it out, and see
Yes.
how your body
Yeah.
feels afterwards.
Yeah.
And you could feel full.
Yeah. To completely full, you should be eating in 20 minutes. Sometimes when we stuff ourselves at that 20, no matter how much we eat, if it's small or little, at like 20 minutes, our body's like, so just be wary of that.
So learning how to balance your meals as well help. Or you're having like too much carbs or not enough proteins or not enough fiber. So learning how to balance it out, but as per your own body, because we're all unique,
Yes.
make a difference as well
Exactly.
on the
People
cravings.
think there's one health recipe for everybody. That's not true. Protein, carbs, different fruits, veggies, they all react in our bodies differently. So knowing how to react, knowing your own bodily signals.
So Elsa just keeps adding gems. So for that, another thing is too, when you're eating, it's good to have an eating routine where you want to eat at specific times of the day every day.
Yes.
Because what happens when you don't do that is your body would tell itself, let's say Martine has breakfast at 8 in the morning usually, and then tomorrow she hasn't eaten till 9. So what happens is at 8 your body's asking itself like, Martine, like what's going on? Where's the food? So when you don't have a balanced routine, what happens is it starts to store like fat for
Yeah.
energy for later on. So that's another way too that you can stock your body. You can turn your body into a stockpiling machine, a fat stockpiling machine. That's something that you don't want to do. So make sure in order to not put your body in that phase to have a balanced routine when it comes to your nutrition.
And to stretch on that point too. That's why that's the importance of, losing weight. A lot of times people want to lose weight, right? Losing weight is something you have to do gradually. It's not something that, I want to lose 10 pounds in a month. That's really not a good thing to do.
Unhealthy,
Because what happens is your body goes into that stress mode. And then the next time you start eating, not only is it going to take everything that you lost, but it's going to add more.
Yes.
Because in its mind, it's
That's
like,
why it's
I
so
don't know.
hard for people that are that lose weight fast. They usually put it back on because of
Exactly,
that.
because your body's telling itself, I don't know when, like right now it's a season of plentiful, like we're in a plentiful season right now, so I don't know, are we going to be hungry again? So let's just
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, because you slowed your metabolism down,
Yeah.
so that's really just careful.
Sorry, because you guys are triggering my coaching side. So just to add on top of that too, you're absolutely right, Jess. Out of 100 people, so the stat goes up for
Yeah,
100
it's
people
really-
who want to lose weight, 10 people actually do,
Yes.
and only 2 people out of those
Actually,
10 people
I
actually
tell my
maintain,
clients
sustain
that-
it later
yeah,
on.
that's
So what does that
That's
goes to show?
2%.
Yeah, 2% out of that's huge.
Yeah.
But what that shows is just that anybody can lose weight.
Yes.
Right, I can tell you, run for every day for 3 hours and literally
lose
eat an
weight.
apple, you'll lose weight. So it's not about
can
losing
you
weight; it's
keep
about
it?
how do you
Yeah,
do it. You want
exactly.
to do it a very sustainable way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Balanced way, healthy way, one that's good for you and that works for you long term.
And you just keep adding them. Just to go on that again, is that, when you do it slowly, not only is it, because if you do it quickly, it just becomes, let me do this for 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's not part of your routine. But if you do it slowly, you actually start building it into your routine. That's so much easier to just keep on going.
Exactly. Yes. And it becomes your foundation. It becomes like something that you can do for life. Now you see it as a part of your life. So I want to let's bring it personal. No, we're going to bring it into personal lives, right? Because even for myself, I know like when I was doing a routine, when I was eating, when I was exercising regularly, I didn't have cravings after like 7 p.m. Like I would eat my dinner at like 6:30, and then after that I could go and I was fine. I would wake up early, and you have zero cravings. I wasn't eating chocolate and candy at that time. I was just eating more nuts and seeds. And I was like, this works for me. I'm not doing that right now. Life's a little hectic right now, but when you have that routine, things just it's easy to follow those routines and it's easy to stay healthy. Your body will know what to do. Okay, so let's make it personal for you guys.
Oh, like
About how-
what's
Yes.
like our personal.
So mindset, how did you strengthen mindset, food, movement? It could be either one.
Okay. Well, I'll start with mindset.
Or routine.
Yeah, I'll start with mindset. Me, how I strengthened my mindset was through reading books. I was always a very positive person, and I was always about self-development too, but I never read these books. So it would be like, I'll have conversations with people, and they'll ask me, have you read this book? I'd be like, no. But it's like, as if I was already had these thoughts in my mind. So it's through, and when I started reading books,
I feel that.
yeah.
'Cause I read a
when
lot.
I started reading books, it kind of reinforced what I was already thinking.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, crap. Like I'm on the right track about certain things. Okay, let me just do more of it,
We
more
should
of it.
talk books after.
Yeah, and for strengthening mindset, it's a habit. You know, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So you have to build the right healthy habits. So for me, how it became like, I went from someone who didn't like reading at all. Then I found a book that I found interesting. So I told myself, okay, let me build a habit, and I'll read at least one page every day. And one page every day of something you love turns into 5 pages every day because you
Yeah.
really love it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you see you're also growing, and it's making your brain think. So I went from that little by little. I started reading a bit more. And then when you're reading, you have questions. You have to be a curious person. I think curiosity and awareness are very two important features. I think they're the most important. And
For
whether,
growth, especially.
yeah, for growth, just for everything in general. Like even, I think it's Warren Buffett who says it's like the wealthiest people. Like he says, for him, the most like important feature to have is like being curious. Because when you're curious, you always go out of your way. It also makes you think. And the second thing is becoming aware. Awareness is also something I teach a lot to people. Like how do you just sometimes we do things because it's the norm,
Yeah.
or we just like pre-program our body and our brain to think
Yes.
that way and do these things, but we
Yes.
don't really know why.
Yes.
So when you're talking about how food is tied into emotion, well, when you become aware of it, then you realize
I can change it.
how you can control it. All right. So when you're aware,
I can
like,
make a choice now.
exactly. Like and one thing like I'm hearing a lot of people say lately, oh man, I don't have time, right? Because the older we get, the busier we get.
But you're actually, when you say I don't have time, you're actually limiting your time. You're going to find ways. So when you tell yourself something, you're going to find ways to prove yourself right. Think of it like that. Your brain is always going to try to prove you right.
And the thing is too, like if you do an awareness exercise, it's like ask yourself, where's my time? If you don't have time, where's my time going? So like keep track of what you're doing every
And
day.
that's the self-reflection.
And, yeah, and then you'll realize like, oh, okay, I spent an hour binge watching on Netflix. I spent 2 hours scrolling on social media. So then you realize you actually have more time than you think
Yes.
you do. And it's really through awareness that you can realize
Managing your time.
how you can control and, strengthen your mindset and everything else more. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's been, to be honest, I think this whole pandemic has been a journey for me because I've realized how many things restricted me. I'll share personally, when I was 13, well, even recently, actually, when I turned 25, I was diagnosed with an illness called neuromyelitis optica. It's an autoimmune disease. And at first, I thought I was fine with it. I tell people about it and just be like, oh, it's okay. God's got me. I'll be cool. But when COVID hit, it hit me so hard at how much it had become part of my identity. And I didn't want that anymore. So one of the things I've been doing lately to get rid of that is one, prayer, because I do believe that the more, like I was saying early on, the more I get to know who God made me to be, the happier and the stronger I'll be. And exercise. Exercise is something that has helped me boost my confidence, because through his crazy exercise, I've realized how strong my body is. Because yeah, it's sometimes he'll be sometimes he'll give you exercise and you're like, how in the world am I going to do that? And then after you do it, and I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing. I can actually do it.
lot of times the peace.
And you can emanate it and reach people with that as well. So let's talk about books that people are reading. Are you guys reading books? I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I'm reading Man's Search for Meaning. Okay, and it's very interesting. It's about concentration camps. It's basically a psychiatrist that was in the concentration camp and seeing how the mindset got people through it. So he said a lot of people would die around Christmas time because they were thinking, I'd be home by Christmas. But he was still able to keep a strong mindset in those circumstances. So he's like, you can take away all these things from a man, make him naked, take away food, but you can never take away how he decides to react in a moment. What his choice of who he is, because his dignity is past everything that's physical. So it's a very interesting book. I'm not done yet, but it's very interesting. Go ahead, Kondo, tell us about the book.
Well, book I'm reading. I'll give you guys two books, a few actually. One that I'm reading and one that I recommend people to read.
Okay.
Right now I'm reading a book called The Psychology of Money. I forgot the name of the author again, but it's basically like how we are taught to look at and view money in regards to like a financial literacy, but how money actually works. And it's like energy.
Yeah,
you know?
I actually want to do an episode on that, but that's later on.
You know, currency is energy,
Yes.
and then you realize how it is.
Yes.
And nowadays, because of social media, a lot of people feel like we're seeing a lot of overnight success, or people that just get rich like that. So it's like we forgot the way our parents got wealthy or got rich, is they focus a lot more on the long term and then building the right habits that will lead them to.
Yes.
So money is really a mindset
Yeah.
game. So that's the book I'm currently reading, and it's great. But the book that I would recommend, I mean, it has to be something that has to do with habits. The Atomic Habit by James Clear.
Haven't read that one.
Yeah, you haven't read that? Oh, it's amazing. That's the first one, and the second one would be The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Ooh, that one
And
I
that's
think
where
I
I got
read.
1% better
Ah.
from. Yeah, that read those books. It teaches you how you have to frame your mindset whenever you're building anything in life, or whenever you're going after something. So it's like, think about it the same way as when you're putting money into a mutual funds account, right? Normally when you go to see your banker, they show you, okay, you put, let's say $20, and the first year you won't see that much growth of your money, but after 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with habits. They also compound over time. Yeah.
For me, I'm actually reading. It's more of an autobiography, I guess. I'm reading Maya Angelou's "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings," and it's my second time reading it. I love that book.
Ooh.
But so it's pretty much just her life. I think it's the first part of a 3-part series. So I know there are many parts to that book, but it's just her childhood and how she grew up and everything that's happened to her, and it's really beautiful just to see different parts of her culture, the American culture, not slavery because slavery was up, but segregation and everything, just to see how that helped her become the woman that she was, because she was an amazing poet, amazing writer, just an amazing person overall. And even her, in terms of mindset, if you look at her story, I think at some point, was she a prostitute or something? Oh, yeah. I don't know what she did. I know at some point her life was not necessarily the best, but you can tell that she rose from that. And it's really an amazing thing to read.
If you read a book twice, you know it's good.
The last book that I read recently was, it's called Time Management from the Inside Out by Susan Morgenstern. So it helps you to dig deeper about, as you mentioned earlier, where is your time going? But it details as well as much as what type of planner that you're using. So again, by taking into consideration your own actions, is it better to use like an electronic form type of planner, or in writing, like an agenda? Because for instance, often, let's say that you want to use an app, right, to track your habits. But if you tend to snooze the habit and so forth, you just
then it doesn't
forget
work
about it. It doesn't work about it.
Me, I'm more of
for you,
a
right?
hand
Hand,
writer.
exactly.
I've tried it with my phone. I'm like, I should, but I'm more.
In
Yeah.
writing, so you're probably more visual. So in the book, they are providing you a lot of examples to get to know yourself even better. So
Can
then
you say
you can
the title
track
one
them.
more time?
Time management from the inside out.
All right.
From Susan Morgenstern. And she gives you different examples as well to dig deeper as well. Where is your time going? If ever you procrastinate, are you actually procrastinating, or do you leave certain things for later on? And sometimes it can be the best option ever, right? You need to prioritize certain things.
Even all your habits, when you get to know yourself, some of them, they actually really help. But it's just you're not using it maybe in the best area. You're procrastinating here, and you can actually bring that procrastination to somewhere else, and it actually takes you more time to reflect on something and do it better. So it depends. Know yourself, and then use it in the most effective ways in things that are around you.
There's even about how to delegate. But what are the reasons? Sometimes something that is technical. For instance, I'm not delegating a task because I don't know how to make it happen, or it could be internal. I can feel guilt about
giving someone
exactly, or it could be external too. So they're really breaking down all the reason why.
Nice. I'm gonna put all the books in the description box, guys, with the title and the author. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, so we're gonna end one more question. I have one more question about how to make a healthy, so your environment. So you know how you guys, we talked about books, and we're consuming books also, and it's strengthening our mindset, and then it goes into our actions. So how important is in our environment and setting up the conditions for our environment for health? And we'll end on that.
How important? Well, it's very, very important. Because as we mentioned, like the way you view things in life is your aspect on life. I'll just
tie in temptations.
Yeah, and I'll speak about one thing that I learned recently. Shout outs to Bob Proctor for this, and may his soul rest in peace because he just passed away. Bob Proctor is like the pioneer of personal development, and he teaches something called the paradigm. I posted it on my podcast recently. So the paradigm is a program in your subconscious that dictates your actions and your habits, right? But
programming.
Yeah, it's programming, and it's a result of your environment, of what you saw growing up, and sometimes it's things that's out of your control because subconsciously your brain picks up energies and things, but you don't even realize it. And slowly it kind of creeps into your ways of thinking, and then you start thinking about it and acting it out, and you don't even know where it came from, right? Like in marketing, they use it a lot, like commercials and stuff, big brands. Like
to spark triggers,
how they call it, subliminal messages, right? You normally don't pick up subliminal messages, but you just start thinking about it. So the paradigm, he talks about how it's something that's there for sure, but it's also something you can work on. And to work on your paradigm, you have to do it every day. You work on it by learning, by putting yourself in different situations, so your brain can pick up different data, so it can become better at its decision-making process. So that's the first thing. So when it comes to your paradigm, work on it daily through learning. To get back, what was the...
I think you brought this up, and I saw you...
Yeah, exactly. So I spoke about that on...
So your environment and setting up your conditions.
Yeah, so setting up, exactly. So that's the paradigm. Now, how to set up your environment properly, I'll give you guys an exercise. And I picked this from Gary Vee. I picked this up from Gary Vee. As when it comes to your environment, you have just your environment where you live, where you spend most of your days. You have what you nurture, your brain, and you also have the people you spend the majority of your time with. Yeah, there's this say that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Show me the people you spend the most of your time with and I'll tell you who you are. And now the way to determine whether these people are the right people for you, well, you know what positive energy and positive thinking means to you, right? So when it comes to your closest people, I want you to ask yourself this question and be as honest as you can be. Even if you love these people, that's okay. You know, even if you love these people to death, that just ask yourself this question. On a scale of 1 being very negative and 10 extremely positive, and you can only choose 1 or 10, not in between.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1 or 10, not in between. How positive are the 5 closest people to me are?
I like that.
And then go through it all. Like, okay, let's say Martine is Martine on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay,
and you can only pick 1 or 10.
1 or 10.
Wow.
Martine, that's what I know. So I know Martine's at a 10.
1 to 10. It's
you know?
1 or 10.
Exactly. So all of y'all, I know you guys are at a 10. But there's usually one per, like, if you have to hesitate,
you know,
and that you may not be that honest with your answer. All right, because there's also like emotion that gets involved. You're like, oh, that's my mom. Like, you know? She can't be a 1.
Positive.
You know, exactly. She's positive, but you know deep down in your heart how you really feel. So that's a great exercise to do it.
That's a
you know,
hard
if you want to,
exercise.
it's a hard
Well,
exercise.
it's, facing the
It is,
truth.
it
But
is.
Yeah, it's facing the truth because when it comes to growth, a lot of people don't grow because they don't. It's hard for us as humans to you look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself honest questions and answer that honestly because of shame, because of doubt, because of guilt. Yeah.
I want to take it another notch. So
Go
not
for it.
just for people, but actually the things the activities that are around you. So the food you're consuming, the shows that you're
Yes.
watching, because you could be watching shows that are actually, very beneficial for you, than some that are really like just draining your energy. So use it for anything that's in your life, everything
Yes.
that's in your life.
Yes, you see, thank you, because I'm going to add that in one of my exercises too. And when you do that, you ask yourself these questions, then make a decision. All right. When it comes to people that are ones, it doesn't mean that you should cut them off necessarily.
No.
Because there's people
But
that
you
you love.
limit-
Yeah, you limit contact or interaction. So if it's someone you speak to every day, maybe you can speak to them every 48 hours or every 3 days. But you'll notice a huge shift because there are people who give, there are people who take away.
Yes.
So if there are people who take away, like me, I'm a giver, right? But it's hard for
Probably
me
an
to.
empath.
Yeah, it's hard for me though to always give to people who are just good at taking.
Yes.
Because then I feel drained. But
Yeah.
when I give to people who also give back,
Give,
it
there's
rejuvenates
a-
me
it's
and it gives me more
Yes.
to
Make
give
sure you're
you.
filling up your cup.
Exactly. Yeah.
Love it. That's good.
Okay, so for environment, how to
Set
up
up
your
the
environment?
conditions for a healthy
Conditions?
environment.
Oh, I think one thing I always tell myself as well, and I believe eventually I should get there. But I think we all need to be able to understand who we are, and in order to do that, like you were saying earlier on, as a child, there's so many things that you take in, and then after, as a result, that's what you are.
Yeah.
But you don't realize.
Yes.
And one thing that will help you realize is therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Get
I
a
do
coach.
believe therapy
Or a
is
therapist,
or
if
yes,
it's-
or a
yeah.
coach. Just someone that will actually ask you those questions, those types of questions that will make you think and reflect and understand who you really are. Because once you understand who you are, you understand what kind of environment you need around you. And once you do understand what kind of environment, then now it's up to you to set it
Yes,
up.
exactly.
And also, another thing is make those hard decisions.
Yeah.
Take that step that you. I think we all have that one thing that we need to do, and sometimes it's just hard to do it. But just take that step. Just do it.
And if you're having a hard time, get someone that believes in you and will
Exactly.
push you.
Surround, because what you're saying about people that take, or people that give, you need people around you that are gonna build you up and fill yourself. Nobody does anything on their
Yeah.
own. You have to have a good support system. So just make sure you also have a good support system around yourself. And if you see that somebody, even if it's your dad, even if it's your mom, just take a step back. It doesn't mean you don't love the
I
person.
know at home some of you are like, damn.
It doesn't mean that you don't love the person, but it also means that you have to take care of yourself as
Yes.
well. Yeah.
You have to be able to give yourself the best that you can to be the best version of yourself.
And if it's somebody in your life that you really need, like your parent, then have those conversations with that person. Heal.
Yes. And through your healing, you might inspire the one to attend
Exactly. Exactly.
I
and
want-
spread peace.
I want to basically say amen to everything that was said. Like, honestly, I guess I can summarize it for me as being self-care, practicing self-care in different ways,
Exactly.
how to set your own boundaries, or whenever that you're going back home, how do you feel? Do you feel at peace? Or there's certain things that you need to move around so that you can feel better to create the environment that you're looking
Yes.
for? What else that could be helpful? Even like when it comes to work, right? Especially let's say that you're not working from home, you need to go to the office, you have less control onto certain things. So how can you create those
The
boundaries,
space, yeah.
this space for yourself,
Yeah.
so that
Yes.
you don't feel drained
Yes.
afterwards, and then you transfer those that type of negative energy
yeah.
to other
Other
people,
areas
right?
of your life, and other people. I love how she said, you're home, because you should be thinking if you're going home, you should be happy. That's something you should be grateful for, right? It's not something that you should be like, you just came from work, I'm already, and now I have to go home, and it's going to be, no, you have to set up those conditions in the environment. You can keep going, sorry.
Oh no, that's
Can I just add something?
Yes.
yeah.
I think we're talking more about the abstract situation. I think another thing is arranging your space, like physical space, in a way that brings you peace, or like that you feel good. For example, I have a desk in my room, and for quite some time there were like a bunch of books there, a bunch of stuff there, and I never wanted to sit on it. I never wanted to go and do anything there. And lately, I just I just cleared everything out and threw what I needed to throw out and put things away. And now it's like the place I sit at the most. So having a clear space, having a clean room, having a clean environment will definitely help you.
It cleans your energy as well. The first two things I tell my clients to do is pay attention to your habits, go home and check how you talk to yourself, check what's in your environment, and be aware of your internal conditions and your external conditions, and then clear the clutter. Clear the clutter because you'll feel like rejuvenated, it'll reset you, and you can actually be motivated and encouraged to do what you need to do to set yourself up for success.
And
And-
eat well.
Yes.
And the more that you declutter, you actually create more time for yourself
Yeah.
because you can easily find the different things, right? Because you're set into
Yeah.
a specific space
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
forth. So
Yeah.
everything is overlapping. Yes.
Some people, there's also people that are organized in their messiness, so no, that's why you need to have that self-awareness first.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Last minute advice?
I was just gonna add, like, when we're talking about basically, what was we were talking about. I just lost my train
The
of
condition,
thought.
is it what we
Yeah,
were last?
when you learn, the reason why you want to do all these exercises and learn a bit about yourself is because the more you learn about yourself, the better you can teach people how to love you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Or you can teach people a better way that they don't know.
Yes.
Because there's always a better way, but some people haven't seen that in their experiences or in their life in general. And so they don't know how to give you that or how to love you the way that you may want to. So you always
Yes.
have to voice how you feel internally, whether it be at work. For sure, at work, there's a professional way of doing so. And it's not always all your colleagues at work will have the emotional intelligence to be able to digest
true.
what you want them to understand. But it's still very important for you to communicate how you feel on the inside, because if you don't voice it, it's just something that's going to be suppressed and suppressed. And whether you like it or not, it's going to come out.
Yes.
But now the longer it's suppressed, it may come out a way that you don't have any control over. Right? So when it comes to professional space, it's hard because you don't know how people can take it. Some people at work are comfortable. Other people, well, it's really hard, but just make sure you find a professional way to do so. But when you're in a more comfortable situation, like with friends and loved ones, don't hold it back. People who love you, they will listen to you.
Yes.
People who love you will try to understand, although depending on the culture, sometimes it's harder to digest.
Yeah.
Like me, the way I grew up, it's hard for me to just tell my mom, "You hurt me."
Yeah.
You know,
What? Who hurt
she'll be mad that I told her that she hurt me. But at least it'll make her reflect. Maybe not at the moment,
Yeah, that is true.
but later on she'll think about
Yeah.
it. And
Like, why did he say
she'll apologize, but she won't say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
She'll apologize
process
like in a way where
Yeah.
like, comment tu vas?
Yeah.
You know, she'll cook, est-ce que t'as faim? You know, stuff like that. But, you know, not in that way. So yeah, when it comes to your loving, there's always a way. That's what I want people to understand.
Yeah.
And I read a book, this is last minute advice for business entrepreneurs and just people who want to scale in the workspace. Read this book. It's called $100 Million Offer
100
by Alex Hormozy, and he talks about like how to create a grand slam offer for your product, for your services. It's great, right? But there's one thing that he says about the way people think. You know, there's different ways of thinking. There's convergent thinking and there's divergent. Convergent is like math. 2 + 2 = 4. So they teach you that there's only one solution to a problem. Divergent is that there's
1 + 1
various
+ 1 +
there's
1.
various solutions. There's many answers. There's not only one answer. So that's how you create a solution.
Yes, I like that.
Right? There's always
there's an unlimited amount of answers.
a limited amount of solutions
Yeah,
as well.
solutions.
And the way people think, in life in general, I've heard a lot of people who mention, I've tried this, it didn't work, so that means nothing's
Yeah,
going
and
to
we
work.
give up.
No, there's many ways.
Yeah.
Trial and error till you get it right.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you hear a lot of successful people, they say you only have to get it right once and you're good for the rest of your
That
life.
is true.
It's so
I
true.
love that. Yeah.
Yes.
If you really love it, you'll keep going and you'll keep at it.
And just to quickly add, if ever we cannot communicate verbally to someone what is going on, to at least write it on paper, like to journal.
Yes, I
So
get people to
everything
write
is
letters.
transferring.
You don't have to
Yes.
necessarily send it, but at least you got that energy out.
Out, exactly. Transfer everything on paper
Yes.
so that you can feel free afterwards.
Yes.
And
Kondo wants
You
to add
know
one
what?
more
My
thing.
brain is all.
He'll add one more thing and then we'll end there, guys. But there were a lot of gems today. That was
Yeah.
a lot more than 3 tips. So that's why we did Bursting with Health, because there's so much that you guys can take from this. Go ahead.
I have a feeling if I add something, they're also going to want to add something. So we're going to go for 5 more minutes.
we can have them back on.
Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
At the end of the day, guys, just keep in mind, no matter what you do, we all just want to be happy.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that's what we want. It's like true happiness. So stick to something and do things that that help you become a happier human being overall.
Yes.
And another thing is like, it's okay to focus on yourself. It's not selfishness. You know, it's actually selfish sometimes to give too much of yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you focus on yourself, then you're putting yourself in a better position to help more people
Yeah.
in a much better way.
Yes.
So fill up
Your
cup.
Yes.
And
I
when
think I talk about that. When you're drained, you're actually giving everyone around you a drained version of you. It's not cool.
yeah. And when it comes to filling up your cup, there's two different ways of also looking at it. I don't know if you guys have been asked the question, is the glass half full or half empty? And a lot of people will say, well, it depends on how you look at it. It can be half full, but it can be half empty, but also that determines the way you look at life.
Yes.
Right? Is my life half full, so I'm doing the right thing, so I just should continue so I can fill it up more?
That's a
Or
gratitude. Next
is
time.
it half empty?
Yeah.
And when you start thinking the half empty, it's like, instead of change the way you speak at yourself and the way you speak into things. Instead of telling yourself, oh, I need to lose weight, so I have to stop doing. No, I get to eat more healthy food. I
Yes.
get to train. I get to
Yes.
be happier. I get to. So
Yes.
come with it from a gratitude,
yeah.
a positive. Yeah, you have to be grateful in life. A gratitude type of So tell yourself you get to do. You see what I was talking about?
I have other things
Well, yeah. I'll stop right here. You go for it.
One
Yes.
last thing, just add a bit to what he was saying. You know, the way you talk to yourself, right? One question to always ask yourself is the things I tell myself, could I tell someone else?
Yes.
Because oftentimes you'll
Would you talk to
yourself
someone
and
else?
say such bad things
Yes.
you could never repeat to anyone.
Yeah.
So why are you telling yourself you're supposed to be the person that loves yourself?
The most.
Love yourself the most. So how is
Exactly.
it that you're talking to yourself in such a way? Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Thank you guys. That is all for Bursting with Health. We are going to end there. And see you on the next episode. It is going to be self-love and pleasure. Okay? So have a great day, Sunday, guys. Bye. Thank you, guys. That was really good. Yes, you guys gave amazing tips.